Hey YouTube, it's MIgardener, and I'm here with the deeper MATER. And so this is just a prototype, but I plan on maybe mass producing it someday in the near future if I can get some responses back from you guys. Being an entrepreneur, you'd like to do some product research before anything happens. And so I'm asking you guys today, as I'm demonstrating everything that this deeper MATER can do, I would appreciate it if after you're done watching, you gave it a fair price. What you'd think you'd pay for it if you saw it in the store versus what you think it's worth to you. Because in the business world, that's all a product is based on, is what it's worth to you. If it's not worth anything to you, then it's not worth making. But I believe that it's definitely worth the effort to even produce one. So if you guys like it and you guys think you can produce it, definitely make one. I'd love to see it in some trial gardens and stuff. By all means, I don't take that as a steal. I intend on maybe making a patent if I can get it down to somewhat of a professional idea. Maybe getting it cut so I don't have to cut it myself, because all of this was basically homemade before I presented this to you, because I obviously don't have a manufacturer for this. But let's get into it. This is the deeper MATER, and I believe that this is going to be a very valuable product in the garden, because normally when you plant your tomato deep, like they ask, or like they say, they don't ask, but when you plant your tomato deeper, you generally get a larger root mass. So the beauty of this is it's got a hole in the bottom, a hole in the top, obviously, and what you're going to do is, in the beginning of the season, you're going to plant your tomato as deep as it can possibly go, allow it to grow 25 inches, then cut off the bottom 15 inches of foliage, just enough to reach the top of this bucket here. Then all you do is unscrew this bolt here, or any of these bolts, releasing this metal cinch here, and then taking off the Velcro. Obviously this is all put together like you'd get it, but there's a cut down the half here, so it can be spread apart like this. It'll spread apart like this, so you can cuff it around the tomato plant instead of shoving it over the tomato plant, where you run the risk of breaking all of the stems and stuff that will shock the plant and prevent it from putting out fruit and having a healthy growing habit. So if you were to cut the stems, open it up, put it around it, you then can add another 5 gallons of dirt on top of what it's already buried in, increasing the root mass by about 200%. So you're going to have an enormous root mass, because you have another 7 inches under the ground, plus what it's going to grow, plus another 14 inches right here. So that's a 200% increase in root mass or available root growing medium that it can grow into, because a tomato is a vine, meaning that any part of the vine that touches the soil will put out roots. So naturally, when you bury it under 14 inches of soil, you're going to have a lot more root mass, leading to a healthier plant, more nutrient intake, more water intake, therefore leading to a healthier plant and larger, more fruit for you. So I truly believe that it's a very valuable tool. But another thing that it does is it has some preventatives that you don't have to spend money on insecticides and fungicides in your garden, because this already does it for you. When it's in this bucket, it's already elevated 15 inches off the ground, plus some that it grows, so you're not going to have any foliage on the ground where it can get blight from splashing water on it. Also, this 1.5 inch Velcro strap is sturdy enough to hold the structural integrity of the bucket along with the metal strap, so the roots don't ever push the bucket apart, and the soil and the pressure of wet soil won't push the bucket apart. It holds all of that intact. Also, what it does is it provides a defense against slugs and cutworms, because slugs will want to climb up the stem of the tomato plant or climb up the bucket and get to your tomatoes by munching a nice little hole in them. And same with cutworms, they'll want to come in and eat that stem of your tomato plant. And what this is going to do is when you wrap it around, you have a burr side and the little fuzzy side of the Velcro, and the burr side is facing out. And what that does is when a slug tries to climb up the bucket, it feels the bristles and it will not pass it because it's an abrasive surface, a lot like eggshells would in the garden that you may have had heard that works. So it protects against that as well. Also, what you can do is near the end of the growing season, you can simply unscrew this, take this Velcro off. Everything fits within the space of this bucket. There's no extra twines. There's no extra rigging. There's nothing. It just is what you see right here. So it's very simple to assemble and deassemble, and it's very easy for storage because if you get multiple of them, you simply put all of these in a bag, stack them on top of each other because they'll fit inside of each other, so they take up very little space. And granted, you're going to want to stake this, and it prevents the classic tomato stake that you get from the store. But a cheaper alternative that works much better is a furring strip. You can get a 6-foot or an 8-foot furring strip and cut them down even smaller if you'd like to. But you simply will take the furring strip, stick it on the outside of the bucket or in the bucket for space saving matters. But it's much cheaper and much simpler, and then you just would simply grow it up, the furring strip. So on one end you don't have the ability to put a tomato cage over it, but if you do use those large round concrete rebar that you see a lot of people using, those large circular growing cages, that will fit over here. So if you use furring strips or the large concrete rebar circles, they will fit over this 5-gallon bucket here. So that is the deeper mater. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you'll try it. I won't find it offensive at all if you make one and test it out. If anything, this is just to find out a demand, maybe show you guys my idea, and like I said, I might not even decide to mass produce it. So if anything, it's a little tutorial on how to increase your tomato plants, probably 30 to 50%, I would imagine. So that's all I have for you today. But that's the deeper mater. And until next time, remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, YouTube. Bye.